So Senator Ted Cruz joins us now. Great to have you in studio. I think we all knew that eventually the sugar high would wear off, and now you have this New York Times poll. It has Democrats nervous. Here's one thing about Harris being seen as too liberal. Is she too liberal or progressive? This is amongst likely voters. 47% said yes. And you served with her, and I'm curious if you think, if you agree with Bernie Sanders, that she is progressive.
So on your opening question, you got me to say something I think I've never said before. I agree with Bernie Sanders. Look, and by the way, Kamala's right. She says that her values haven't changed. They haven't changed. She has been a hard left vote her entire life. In the Senate, she showed up in 2017. I served with her for years. 100% of the time she voted hard left. Her voting record is to the left of Bernie, and it's to the left of Elizabeth Warren. I served with Bernie and Elizabeth. It is not easy to get to their left. There ain't much space there, but Kamala happily occupied it. Look, this is someone who, as a senator, when cross-examining the head of ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, compared ICE to the Ku Klux Klan. That's what Kamala Harris did. Said, you know, people are saying you're like the Klan. And understandably, the head of ICE was offended and said, I don't know what you're talking about. We're law enforcement agents who are protecting American citizens. She's like, well, but people are saying you're just like the Klan. That's who she is. And Bernie's right. There's a reason that the left is not mad at Kamala for pretending to run away from all of her left-wing positions. Because they know she's pretending. They know it's all about, we just got to get to Election Day. And if, God forbid, she gets to the White House, she's going to go back to what she's done her entire life, which is hard left.
Okay, so let's go ahead and cue it up since we mentioned it. 29th of August, here's how that exchange went on CNN.
Generally speaking, how should voters look at some of the changes that you've made? Should they feel comfortable and confident that what you're saying now is going to be your policy moving forward?
Dana, I think the most important and most significant aspect of my policy perspective and decisions is my values have not changed.
I don't know how and if that comes up on Tuesday night, but if your values are what you believe in, shouldn't your policies be also what you believe in, and vice versa? Meaning there should be no distance between the two if this is what you believe in. And it can be far left as long as you believe it. It can be far right as long as you believe it. There should be no space between those two.
Look,
Am I wrong?
You're absolutely right, but there's something more fundamental. What Kamala Harris is trying to do here is really bizarre, which is she's trying to run as the change candidate. She's trying to treat Donald J. Trump like he is the incumbent president. And that's utterly disconnected from reality. She is the current administration. And normally the way VPs run is they say, hey, we did a great job. The president did a great job. Let's continue the successes of the administration I was the VP in. Well, the problem is Biden and Harris, their policy record is a complete train wreck. And so you look at her convention speech, you look at that interview, the entire time she's saying, well, I would do this to secure the border. It's like, well, if you would do that, why don't you do that? You're in charge right now today. And so everything she's saying she would do, the way I would put it is actions speak louder than words. We know what she'll do in the border because she's been border czar for 4 years, and we've had 11.5 million people invade this country because she refuses to enforce the law. We know what she'll do on energy because she and Joe Biden have been in charge for 4 years, and they've waged a war on energy that has driven the cost of gasoline and everything else through the roof. And so I hope tomorrow night in the debate that Trump really prosecutes her record versus his record, because on almost every measure, the lives of the American people were much better when Trump was president. We had a Republican Senate and a Republican House than they are now under the Biden-Harris record.
So Congress goes back into session. Yeehaw, here we go. Another few weeks of this before the election. There is a bill in the House of Representatives. It's called the SAFE Act, Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act. And this basically, I might, for shortchanging it, excuse me, but it's basically saying that individuals have to provide documentation to prove U.S. citizenship in order to vote in federal elections. It's already against the law to vote in a federal election if you are an immigrant. This bill is in the House. Do you want it to come over to the Senate and be attached to the spending bill? And will it pass?
I think it absolutely should be attached to the spending bill and go over. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, is talking about doing that. House conservatives are urging him to do that. Now, predictably, in the Senate leadership doesn't want him to. So Chuck Schumer doesn't want him to, and Mitch McConnell doesn't want him to. Schumer never wants to do anything that would actually be positive and good for the country, and McConnell consistently is afraid of having a fight. What I can say is we've had 11.5 million illegal immigrants come into this country. Under existing law now, when they go in and they get welfare benefits, when they get government benefits, when they get driver's licenses, right there they are given a voter registration form. Right there.
Across the country?
Across the country. It's actually a federal law, sadly, that Bill Clinton signed into law. It's called Motor Voter. And they're given a voter registration form. Now, it is illegal for them to register to vote, but nobody checks. Nobody asks, are you a citizen? If they fill out the form, they register to vote, they're handed the form. You know, we had just in the last couple of days, actually, the U.S. Department of Justice is prosecuting a woman in Alabama, an illegal immigrant who registered fraudulently to vote and voted in 2 different elections. She's being prosecuted for that. And if you look at, I get this question all the time as I'm campaigning across Texas. Why? Why would the Democrats just open up the border, let in gangs, let in fentanyl, let in murderers and child molesters? Like, what possibly is their motivation? And I think their motivation is simple. They look at 11.5 million people and they see future Democrats. Some they think will vote illegally in this coming election. The rest they think will vote once they get control and grant amnesty and voting rights to all of them. But I think the SAVE Act is simple common sense, that if you're going to vote, you should be a U.S. citizen. We want U.S. citizens to vote, but we don't want illegal votes. The Democrats passionately oppose that, and the obvious reason why is because...
Would this be constitutional?
Of course it would, yeah.
Quick answer. Tomorrow night, it is Trump's job to prosecute the issues that you have laid out for us today. What sort of prediction do you have? Or she's been holed up in Pittsburgh for a week. She will be ready for this.
Yeah, she will. So... As you know, I do a podcast every week called Verdict with Ted Cruz. Today's podcast is entirely a preview of the debate tomorrow night. So I break down what Trump needs to do. I break down what Kamala needs to do. Tomorrow night's a big night. This is probably the most consequential day between now and Election Day. And both candidates have a lot to lose. Kamala, this is the one time they're letting her be unscripted. Her campaign team is terrified for her to answer questions. They keep her locked up in Joe Biden's basement. She reads from the teleprompter. This debate, she can step on landmines. Her team is scared. Trump, look, what Kamala wants to do is get under Trump's skin. She wants to make Trump look like a jerk.
Harder to do when the mics are muted, and that could play to both sides, either to an advantage or disadvantage. I think, frankly, the American people are ripped off because of it, and there's no live audience, so there's no reaction. We're going to see the same rules we saw in late June. We'll see how it goes.
All right, one question. What are the odds tomorrow night that she says the words, "I'm speaking"? I put it at 100%.
You're probably right. Yeah.
But if he doesn't have the opportunity to interrupt her, she does not have the opportunity to say
She's going to find a way to say it anyway.
Okay, we'll see.
But I think she's frustrated. I think that was the main reason she wanted the mics on, is she wanted to say, "I'm speaking."
Well, I know her team fought hard a week ago to change that rule in the Trump team.
It worked to Trump's advantage with Biden.
It did.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
See you. Ted Cruz.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.